something might go wrong, and I was going to stop on the line of backing it in, and I didn't. I stuck it around. It took the rest of the boys about 20 minutes to catch me after that.
It was Manchester United's, Matt Busby's and George Best's finest hour. But what next?
It seemed to me that everyone was saying, that's it. You know, we've done what we set out to do. I was 22. You know, I wasn't going to reach my peak for another 7 or 8 years. I felt they should have been saying this is the first of many, instead of this is the one. And I started to have a lot of doubts about what was going on within the club, which hurt me, you know, because Manchester United had been my whole life.
Life went on for George, though, which meant some extraordinary moments on the football field and an extraordinary life off the field too. But George's lifestyle and the fact that his star was becoming increasingly difficult to handle was a worry for Matt Busby.
He did everything that was humanly possible. He tried everything. He talked to me quietly, he screamed at me, he suspended me, he fined me, he put his arm around me. He couldn't have done any more. He really couldn't. I was the one that could have done more. But having said that, I didn't have the experience to do any more. You know, it started going wrong when I was 23, 24. I was still only a kid. I didn't know what was going wrong.
Matt Busby's retirement sent United into decline, and this was reflected in George's form and enthusiasm for the game. By the time that Tommy Docherty arrived at Old Trafford, George was missing training on a regular basis. They both tried to make things right, but before long, it was clear that George Best was on his way out. He was just 27 years old.
Tommy Docherty told me about an hour before kick-off that I wasn't playing. And I just said to him, well, if I don't play today, I won't play again. I remember I sat there until all the players had gone. I went and sat up in the stand and looked at the pitch, and I never went back.
So that was the end of George's days with Manchester United. He even quit the game for a brief time, which he spent in Spain. In a period of confusion, Best played a few games for Stockport County and a summer for Los Angeles Aztecs before signing for Fulham in West London, which was the last English club to really get the benefit of George Best's talents on the field.
When he went to Fulham, he actually showed glimpses of what a great player he was. I remember him and Rodney Marsh, you know, messing about during one game on Match of the Day, and he looked in good nick. He really got himself into shape again. And he looked as if that's the times that we were talking about as well, that he could maybe get back into the Ireland side.
But it never happened. George was spending more and more time in the USA, where he met his first wife, Angie. He may have been a fading star by now, but George Best still held a fascination for football fans across the world. He was the star turn for Los Angeles Aztecs, San Jose Earthquakes and Fort Lauderdale Strikers. And the USA witnessed the last moments of George Best's footballing genius.
He might not have played as well, he might have been on the downward trend, but he filled stadiums. He was still that great attraction to people. George Best, I mean, what more can you say?
But not everybody was convinced by George's American dream.
The George Best I remember, and will always want to remember, I'm lucky, was between the youngster I met on trial and the youngster I last played with in 1967. Forget all the rest.
When he finally retired from football, George's life started to drift. And without the game he loved, alcohol tightened its grip.
You think, well, why didn't I see it? Why didn't I spot it? Why wasn't I able to see it and do something about it? I mean, obviously, as you got more into the 70s, some of it became very public, and and you know, that's when it all became, you know, fairly clear what was going on. But I guess by that time it was a bit too late.
The problems mounted up for the superstar: bankruptcy, prison for drink driving. But at the root of everything was alcoholism.
It's not a secret, he did have a drinking problem, and you know, he tried to get over it. It wasn't going to be.
At the end of the day, George had an illness, which was a shame, and only the people close to him, his family, his wife at the time, really knew what George was going through.
In 1995, George married for a second time, but there was nothing Alex Best could do to stop his addiction. And neither could his friends. An after-dinner speaking engagement with Harry Gregg was one night when things went particularly wrong.
I said to him, "Here, you're out of here." He said, "Yeah, yeah." We got up, stepped off the platform, down the corridor, and met his agent and George's wife. And I said, "Get him out of here." And he went to kiss me. I said, "Get yourself to bed." The following morning, I'm down early in the morning, and George is there as bright as a button. And I just said to him, "George, why didn't you show the world the true George Best?" You know what he said? "Too late now, H, too late." 1998. That's God's truth. Too late.
But it wasn't too late to give the one-time football genius the recognition he deserved. The honours began to flow, an honorary degree. The freedom of Castlereagh Borough, and a permanent place in the heart of the nation. But in November 2005, the situation with George's liver took a turn for the worse, and he died in hospital at the age of 59.
Things didn't look good, and we kept going back, and you just felt that, well, maybe we won't be seeing him anymore.
1 o'clock today, my father has passed away. Not only have I lost my dad, but we've all lost a wonderful man.
The legacy of George Best for me is that people, youngsters like the ones in this playing pitch only a stone's throw from his home, can perhaps become players like him. He is their idol, and someday I only hope that the legacy he left is that somebody else will follow him from this part of the world.
There was so much to give. There was so much to give. A thing of beauty, and we didn't get it all. And he didn't get it all either.
I just feel sorry for these little kids at the minute who go and watch Manchester United and they see the stars that's there now. And they are a fantastic team, but these kids have never seen George Best. And if they had it done, you know, I think they would have changed that poll when they said that Eric Cantona was the best player ever to play at United. Not at all. George Best was by a mile.
I actually think I was the greatest player of all time. I didn't just play long enough at the top. But circumstances dictated that, you know, and I can't change it. And I was lucky. I had 11 great years, and it's 11 more than a lot of people get.